Hi, everyone. Good morning,
Hello.
good afternoon, good evening. We are about to start. We are waiting for more people to join us. Let's give them like 2 minutes or 3 minutes more. Hope you are doing well. I allow camera for attendees if you want to say hi to us. Mm, hello from Italy. Hello. Uh, hello, Anja. You can tell us where are you now. Mm. If you go to the chat box, you can see the link to the next webinar on May the 8th. If you did not register, you can do it now. Oh, hello, Eve. It is connected.
Um, Karina, I cannot see the chat. Is everybody seeing the
Yeah,
chat? It's just me.
yeah, you cannot see it. If you
Oh,
can see how many people are connected,
yes.
but next to that,
Then
it's supposed there's a chat box.
yeah, yeah, I'm
Ah,
there,
but
but
I don't
I
know.
see no
Okay,
messages
no
and no
message.
questions.
Oh my God. Okay, but I saw when people said hello. Did you see that?
Uh, no,
Oh
that's
my
what
God.
I found weird.
Suddenly
I just saw Eve raise his hand.
yeah, make organizer. Maybe I can make you organizer too.
Mm.
Yes. Maybe now. Luciana, hi. Um, yes, it's only the question box that works. Yes. I don't know why, but it's that way. I cannot do anything. But everybody can see the message that I sent with the link. Just tell me yes. Hello, Luciana, I can see you. Veronica says yes, okay. Hi. Well, what I'm doing is that, okay, we are going to start now. Thank you. Thank you one more time for joining us. This time we have Reginaldo Francisco with a review and quality assurance tool in Wordfast Pro. Reginaldo is our sales and support manager. He's a key member of the Wordfast sales and support team dedicated to helping users to get the most out of Wordfast technology. With an extensive experience in translation and localization, he has a bachelor's degree in translation from the São Paulo State University and a master in translation studies from the Federal University at Santa Catarina in Brazil. He's a passionate about technology and language. He plays an essential role in assisting both new and experienced users in optimizing their translation workflows. Well, I hope you enjoyed this session. Remember that we are going to post the recording on our YouTube channel. You will receive a message after with the link, and we will have some time for questions at the end. So please feel free to type them in the question box. Then I will read it or allow the camera to ask yourself the question. So Reginaldo, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Karina. Thank you for organizing everything. Thank you for the introduction, the kind words. And thanks everybody for joining this session. I hope I will bring some useful information for you guys. I will now share my screen and turn off the camera so that you can see it bigger, see my screen in a bigger size. Share this. So here. Yeah, I suppose you can see it better now. So I'm going to talk about some review and proofreading and quality assurance tools in Wordfast Pro that can help you after the translation when you are correcting, reviewing, proofreading, polishing your work to send to the client. And I see the review, the review part of translation job is very important, as essential to the quality, and it may take a large part of the time you dedicate to translation, and it can have several steps depending on each translator. The way each translator organizes it can be different. But I will talk about the steps that I I practice myself and I see as useful. Um, so to my understanding, when reviewing our own translation, there is time we dedicate to recheck each segment and compare, still comparing original and translation and trying to find problems in the translation. Then there is a step in which we want to read the text only in our target language to find things that don't sound very well, or things that you cannot see when you are comparing both of them. And there is the step in which you want the machine to help you find errors that the human eye cannot see because it's tired, or because they are tiny problems that you you are no longer seeing, even if you look at the sentence several times during the translation process. Uh, so WordFast Pro has some features that can help you in any of those stages of the review process. So starting with the moment when you finish translating a document, I brought a very simple sample document here. Um, for this demonstration. So, considering I've translated my document, finished it, I used the glossaries, translation memory, had some fuzzy matches, had machine translation helping me during the translation. So I was editing machine translation too. I added terms to the glossary and used the glossary to help me during the translation, and finished the first step, the translation step. So I let's consider I want to go back to the beginning and simply go segment by segment and reread again source and target, see if everything is okay. At this point, there are some features in WordFast Pro that can be helpful, which are those filters on top of the TXLF editor. So one thing that can happen when you are doing this review is, for example, you see a document here and you think, oh, I it seems I translated document as documento here, and but I'm not sure if I always translated it like that. So you can use this text filter on top of the TXLF editor to filter for all the segments containing the Word document. So you can uh, do a cross review of all the segments with that word. Uh, and then if you want to go back to all the text, you click this button to reset the toolbar fields. Um, and here you have with the example, let's see tab, for example. Tab can be translated as guia or is aba in Portuguese. So I can have a look to see if I was consistent in translating it, or if I decide to change, I can do this so that I change in every segment. I forgot to do something. One interesting Another interesting feature to use is if you have project with many files, you can chain them all together. You select them and click chain files. So you can see all of them one after the other and translate them one after the other. And this is useful in the review step too, because for example, if I filter for tab, I am now filtering segments from all the documents. You can see the change in the live preview. So this is from the first document. This is from the second document, and this is from the third document. Okay, so you can review how you translated a specific term or a specific phrase throughout your project in different files. Uh, with the example with document, you see here you see document in both source and target, because in target there is documento, which contains document in it. But you can select here to see only target, only source, if the word has to be in both of them or in any of them, and so on. And if you want, you can check match case so that you see only the instances in which document is lowercase, as I type it here, or the opposite if I type in initial uppercase document, then I see only those matching this case. Okay. And finally, there is regex. If you master regex, it's a complicated, not complicated, but it's something not everybody masters. But if you know regex and you know how to use it, you can do some more advanced search, more advanced filtering. For example, if I want to see all the segments containing a number, I can use the \d, which is the regex expression for the regular expression for a number. And then when I filter, I see all the segments containing numbers, right? So that I can check if there was any problem with numbers. And there will be a regular expression for segments containing only numbers, which may be useful, and so on and so forth. Segments starting with lowercase, and you can do uh, an infinite list of magics of magic tricks with with regex. Uh, and there are some special filters as well, in which you filter for the status of the segment instead of a specific word. So, for example, you can see only the machine translated segments. Let me see. Machine. No, empty. Unedited empty segments, for example. So you see the segments that were translated with machine translation, and I haven't done any editing. So I can use this to recheck those segments to make sure they really don't need any special edition. Okay, if they can be used as provided by the machine translation. So there is a long list of special filters here. Uh, I won't be covering each of the features. The idea here is to pointing out the possibilities you can use during the review and QA process. But each of them you can explore by yourself just by checking the options and testing the options and to find which ones are more useful for your specific work, the kind of text you translate. Now, after you finish this first step of comparing source and target again and reviewing it, you may want to read your translation in your target language only. So you could export, save your file as translated, or yeah, save a preview. Here in the preview, you can save a preview in Microsoft Word. So you could review it in Word. But if you do any changes to this preview in Word, they won't be incorporated in your TXLF, and consequently you won't do those changes in your translation memory too. So one good idea, if possible, is to review from inside Wordfast Pro. So you can use the live preview to do that. Here you can see the translation, a preview of the translation with reproduction of the formatting and the structure of the document. So you can sort of see how your document will look like, and then you can read only the Portuguese. I will make it a bit bigger, so you can read it here. And this live preview here can be resized, as you can see. I can make it bigger if I want to concentrate on it. It can be moved to different locations, for example, to the left or to the right or to the bottom. And it can also be undocked. There is an option to undock preview so that it becomes a separate window that you can move uh, wherever you want. So for example, if you are working with two monitors, with two screens, you can move it to your second screen and then translate and review or review it on the separate screen and make changes in WordFast. If you find something you want to change in the translation, you just click it and then you are taken to the corresponding segment, and you can do the change you want. Okay. So this is useful when you are proofreading, when you want to concentrate on the target text only, and then change anything you need to. After that, there are some steps that you can rely on the machine to point you. Oh, let me put it back to the right. and make it smaller. Then there are the steps that you assign to the machine. One of them, the most common, even without cat tools, is spell checking. Even if you were translating in Microsoft Word, for example, you would want to spell check your translation at the end. And in WordFast Pro, you can just go to review and click spell check, and it's going to work. It works out of the box in any operating system, because by default I actually changed it in my settings. But by default, Handspell spell checker is selected, because Handspell will work on Mac, on Linux, on any computer, on Windows without Word. If you don't have Word, if you don't have Office installed, you still get it to work. So it's the one selected by default, so that you can use it out of the box. But if you have, if I run the spell check with Handspell, it's going to complain about Microsoft, about Word, or Excel. Uh, so I prefer to use the Microsoft Office spell checker. And then when I if you but Office spell checker needs you to have Office installed on your computer, and it works only on Windows, only on PC. Uh, so if you are on Windows and you have Office, you can use it. Otherwise, you can use Handspell, and then it's going to work much like spell check in Word, in Office. It's going to find the problems, and you can change it, change all if there are several instances of the error, ignore all, or add to your glossary, to your dictionary, to your spelling dictionary, so that next time it appears, if it's a proper name, for example, or some word that really exists, you can add it to the dictionary. So I'm going to correct. No, I'm not going to correct this one, because so that we can see it in transcheck as well. So I will ignore by now, and then yeah, no more spelling errors, and done. So regarding spell check, some people may prefer using the mark spelling errors, um, instead of spell checking. Um, and then you're going to see it with a red line, be uh, underline, um, marking the words. It's another way of doing it. And if you want, in spell checker, you can mark this check for spelling errors as you type. Um, but this will will be slightly different. When you confirm a segment, it's going to warn you about the problems. I don't like it that much, because it sort of interrupts your work all the time. So I prefer to translate without interruptions, and then run the spell check at the end. Um, Now, when spell checking is done, you can also run transcheck. Transcheck um, can also check for spelling. It's one of its options, but it checks several other things. If you just click transcheck all, you also it runs, and you see several warnings, but with only the default options checked. If you go to preferences and then transcheck preferences, you can see the entire list of possibilities. And then you can select the ones that better apply or will help more with your current translation work, because several things are useful, but depending on the text will be they will um, bring more false warnings than real useful warnings. Um, so so you can check the list and decide the ones you want to use. And once you select the check, you can see sub options. For example, in capitalization, you can check for all caps mismatch, first word case difference, differences between target and source capitalization, and so on. And you always have the option to skip exact and context matches if you don't need to recheck them since they were checked previously. So here I am checking capitalization, source and target consistency, um, copied source, empty target, number difference, punctuation, repeated words, tags, white spaces. Those check the segment content. Um, and there are others that check according to the segment status. For example, if it's segment, a context match or a exact match segment, and it was edited, you may want to check why you edited something that was 100% the same in your translation memory. This can be used by the translator or by the project manager, for example, to check why the translator didn't use the translation from the translation memory. If the source segment was edited, you can have a warning. This one is very important, unedited fuzzy match, because sometimes a 98% fuzzy match, for example, uh, doesn't need any changes because in the translation, in the target language, it's okay. The translation is okay yet. But sometimes you just forget to change something in your fuzzy match, or you don't see where the difference is, and then it's a good idea to check at the end of the translation, check if you really don't need to change anything in those unedited fuzzy matches. And the same for machine translation. Nowadays, machine translation providers are quite good. They help a lot, and sometimes you can really just use the machine translation without any changes. But it's a good idea at the end of your translation job to do an extra check on all unedited machine translated segments to be sure that you don't need to change anything. And then there are the checks that are based on reference files. For example, spelling, which will compare it to the reference, your spelling dictionary is the reference in this case. Checking terminology to check if your if a term that is in your glossary appeared in the segment, if you used the translation that you had saved in the glossary. Uh, you can check for untranslated text, untranslatable actually. You can have a list of untranslatable words, for example, trademarks, proper names, things that you as a translator want to make sure you won't translate, or as a project manager, you want to make sure that the translators didn't translate it by mistake. Especially nowadays, when most translators will work with machine translation, you can have, for example, it's an absurd example, but just to give an idea, if you have Microsoft Word and then Word was translated into palavra in Portuguese or uh, parola in Italiano, and so on. So this is an untranslatable text. So you may create a list, and at the end you run WordFast transcheck, so that you make sure that those words are not translated. Um, and those are the most important ones. And as I told you before, we don't have time to cover each of them, but it's important for you to know that transcheck exists and all those possibilities exist, and you can visit them by yourselves and test the ones that are most helpful for yourselves. So let's now run transcheck here and see how it works. Since I checked source and target consistency, there is this warning. Source and target consistency check will not be reported using transcheck all option from the TXLF editor pane. Uh, this means in order to see source and target consistency warnings, you have to run it in project view. I will show you later, but this is just a warning that now you won't see any warnings regarding consistency. Okay, I just hit continue. It's going to process it. And then you see a summary on screen with 12 warnings and the type of warnings. But the complete transcheck report will be open on your browser. So here you can check the report, separated by files and separated by warning type. Here, it depends. Some people may want to see the errors here. So, for example, spell check, I can see it was on segment 11. So I can go to segment 11 of this document and review it in WordFast. It's in another here, segment 11 here. Uh, but there are some better ways to handle the warnings from inside Microsoft, sorry, from inside WordFast, so that you don't have to go back and forth from the report to there. It's useful to review the report on the browser if you have too many false positives. For example, with tag check is very important. Um, but in this example, it's warning. Oh no, sorry, it's white space check. In this example, white space has only false positives. It's complaining because around tag 3, there is not a space as there was in source. In source, there was a white space after the tag, and you don't have it in target. And the same for tag 4 here. So those are things I can just ignore. So if you have too many false positives in your report, it's better to go check in the report and only stop to change in WordFast Pro when it's really a problem. But if you really have important things, or most of it is relevant, it's better to use the tools from inside uh, WordFast Pro. Segments with transcheck warnings are indicated with this sign, this transcheck warning sign here in the status column, so you can see where the problems are. You can use the special filters to filter for segments with transcheck warnings, so you can concentrate only on them. And down here, along with the TM lookup, nodes, segment history panes, you have the transcheck pane in which you see the explanation for each warning. So here in this example, number difference check, the numbers in source and target don't match. So you see it's 138 at the end here, and it's not the same in target. So I can correct it here, and then click refresh to make sure the problem is solved, and then move to the next one. First word case difference. Here it's capital, and here it's not. So I can correct this as well. Here, source contains different formatting. I forgot to apply bold to novo and arquivo. You see, these are very specific and problems that sometimes, even if you look 100 times at this and you review several times your work, you won't see the problem. Here, see how to create a workbook. What's the problem? Punctuation. So punctuation is different in source and target. Refresh. Uh, Here, the spelling problem. So you see, you can spell check with transcheck as well. But I prefer to use the spell check separately from transcheck, because then you have the option to add to the dictionary when it's frequent false positives, so that it won't warn you again about that. So I prefer to spell check separately, but you can also do it in inside transcheck. Let's refresh this one too. It's still complaining. Oh yeah, now it's only the white space difference. So this one I can ignore, because there's no need to have a white space after the bold here, and so on and so forth. Here you see one warning me that the source was copied to target, and this one from the glossary, incorrect terminology. I have desktop with área de trabalho as the translation, and I used ambiente de trabalho, so it warns me about that, and so on. Okay, after you correct everything, I on purpose, I didn't press Alt down. After changing anything, you should press Alt down so that you confirm the change to the translation memory. Otherwise, you review your text, but you keep the wrong version on your translation memory. You can remember to do that, pressing Alt down after any change. But let's imagine you decided during the review, you decided to replace. So I use Control H to open the find and replace box. And then I decided to replace aba with guia to translate tab, to translate the word tab. So I replace all. And let's find an example here. So all instances of aba to translate tab were replaced with guia. So this applies to several segments. Oh, I typed guia at the wrong place too. Oh yeah, no, you have to be careful with that. You see there is aba inside trabalho. So when I replaced everything, I replaced it by mistake. So in real life, it's better to use find and replace one by one instead of replace all to avoid accidents. But then I changed several segments at once doing that, so I don't have to press Alt down all the time in that case. What I can do instead is at the end, after doing all the review and proofreading and everything, at the end I go to translation and click commit all. So this is important in the review process, because otherwise you are reviewing only the document. You have to review the document, but also update your translation memory. So this is the best practice, to always click commit all after you finish the review process. Okay, and then it's all ready. You can go to file and save your file as translated. For let me see one thing. Yeah, yeah. For some mysterious reason, it's not enabled here. Oh yeah, it's not mysterious. It's because it's chained files. Just one thing. I will close the chained files, and then if I open one by one, I can save file as translated, or I can use cleanup to save all the files at once. And just one more thing, if I go to transcheck report here, I can run the transcheck feature on all the files at once. It's almost the same as running it with chained files as I did, but the difference is now the source consistency and target consistency will be checked. And so I can save then it's saved as a report on your computer. I will save it on my desktop, and then run transcheck. Now it found 22 problems. And if I go to my desktop, uh, supposedly I should find it. Da, 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 da. Oh, here. Yeah. And let's see if I find source. Yeah, I thought I had created a problem with source and target. Oh, yes. You see here, target consistency. Uh, yes, I once translated click on the file tab in the top left corner as clicar na guia arquivo. And at another point in a different document, I translated it as click instead of clicar. So this will warn me if a source segment was translated differently in different files, and also if with the same source I arrived at the same at a different translation. So let's see. Yes, here I translated the same way, but I had different sources. So creating a presentation when PowerPoint is open, and creating a presentation when you open PowerPoint. So those are uh, different sources, and I translated the same. It means I didn't edit a fuzzy match. So if I find it in 1.3, you see uh, it was a different source, and I didn't change the 90% fuzzy match. So I have to correct it now. Criando uma apresentação quando o PowerPoint está So this is the source and target consistency check. Okay. So I like doing trans check from inside the TXLF editor with the files chained together, because then I can have the trans check warnings here marked in the TX in the TXLF editor in the status on the status column. I can see the explanation for the warnings here and correct them. But it's a good idea at the end to run it from the current project view too, in order to check for oh sorry to check for consistency only. So you can even go to preferences here, uncheck everything, and then check only source and target consistency to do a final check to on the in the entire project. Okay, so this is it. Thank you for your attention. If you have any doubts, any questions, we still have some minutes for that. So I try to cover all the phases that I see in the review process, and hopefully it was useful, and you'll be able to use those tools for yourselves.
Okay, thank you, Reginaldo. We have some questions.
Mm.
Can you see them on the question box, or I'm asking?
Oh yes, yes, I can see them. Let's see.
Yes. Can you see that if
Mm.
you change files, how do you know where one file ends and another file starts?
Uh, yes. Do you want to? It's a bit difficult for me to see here the
The
entire
question?
questions. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I see them, but I have to open one
Yes.
by
Well,
one. So
okay. No,
if you
you don't.
can read the most
Yeah.
repetitive
Yeah.
ones, and I can answer. This
Okay.
question about the chain files.
Yeah.
If you chain a file, if you chain several files, you can see, yes, the answer is yes. You can see when one ends and the other starts. There is a thicker line separating them. The color scheme changes from to the other. The numbering of the segment ID restarts. And also, when you move from one to the other, if it's an office file, you can see the preview changing when you move from one to the other. Okay.
Okay. Okay. And Charlotte, she said, I wonder if it is possible to search for a term in source or target and have it highlighted within the segment where it is present. Sometimes I search for a
Uh,
term in the regex and I see all the segment where it is present, but if the segment is very long, it can be difficult to find the term, so a highlighting option would be very helpful. Thank you.
yes, perfect. Yes, you can. uh, you can press Control F or Control H to open the find replace box, and then document, for example, you type the word and you click highlight all here in reading highlight all.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
So you see, in this case, it highlighted in both source and target.
Nice.
This is probably what you want.
Okay. And again, could you please repeat how to replace all when?
Yes, it's in Control H. Uh, This is under edit.
Mhm.
Yeah, find and replace. But I like to use the shortcuts. If you hover your mouse over a button, you can always see the shortcuts. So I prefer to use the shortcuts all the time. When you press Control H, you type find and replace, and then you have the options to replace, replace all, find next. So if you hit replace all, uh, it does. But it's very dangerous. You have to be careful about that. You use it only if you are 100% sure that you can replace everything. Uh, you've seen a good example in my text by replacing "aba" with another word. I ended up ruining this trabalho. And or alternatively, if you master regex, you can mark here use regex and then use some regex to indicate that you are replacing only aba, for example,
Mhm.
as an entire word instead of inside of another word. Or you can use this option whole words only to make sure that kind of accident won't happen. But even so, I always advise people to use replace one by one, even if it's a bit boring and more time consuming. But you make sure no accidents happen.
Perfect.
Mhm.
One more from Kati. I work for an agency that sends only XLIF files that I have to work with. Usually there is also a Word file for reference, but I have to work with the XLIF. Is there any
Mhm.
way to see a preview of the formatted target text? When I click
Mm.
on preview, either I get a strange Word file with both the source and target text and a strange formatting, or I am asked to choose an app to perform the task. Is it
Mm.
clear? Or shall
Yeah,
I?
that's not possible because
Mhm.
when you have an XLIF, it was generated by another cat tool. Uh, in the XLIF contains the text already extracted from a Word file, and it was not extracted by Wordfast. So Wordfast cannot uh, reproduce the formatting of the source file. So your client will be able to take the XLIF and preview or save the final translated Word file, but from inside WordFast, you can only preview if the source file, the text from the source file was extracted by WordFast itself.
That's it. One more question from an expert here. Uh, can you replace only on source or only on target?
I see. You can when you hit Control H, there is the option to search only source, only target. And in a hotline yesterday, I was helping a user who needed to replace something in several files. Um, I suggested him to chain the files and then use find and replace, or open all the files. You can open several files at once in WordFast Pro. They will be separate tabs on the TXLF editor. And then you can use this search open files. So you replace not only on the current document, but in all the documents. And to answer the user's question, you can decide if you search only source, only target. But regarding replacing, you won't be able to replace source, to replace in source. You can replace only in target. But if you want to search on both or only one of them, you can.
Okay. So if you want to use the mic, I will allow the mic to all the attendees. If you want to ask another question to Reginaldo, you can do it. You can speak now. So, hello, Lucia, Valkyria. If you want, you can
Hello.
open. Hello,
Sorry.
hello,
No,
My
no.
hello.
I don't have any question. I just turned on my camera. Sorry.
Okay, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Okay. Oh, well, if there are no more questions, so I want to thank you all of you to
uh,
be here. And Reginaldo, can I see you? I cannot see you now.
yeah. Hello again.
Uh,
Uh,
so hello again. Thank you very much, Reginaldo. And we hope
thank you.
to have more webinars with you in the future. Of course, we are going to have it. And to all of you, remember we have a one more webinar next month, and we will start reprogramming everything again. I will suggest you. I don't know if you want to address special topics. You can write to my email, carinadeemilio@wordfast.com, and we will try to do something for the next webinars. What else I was going to tell you? Well, I think this is all. Remember, we will upload this webinar to our YouTube channel. I encourage you to follow our social media for news and updates on the Wordfast world. And hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.